Welcome, guys, to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about the rest of the questions in Unit 7. We're talking about dot proportion and how to solve problems using dot proportion. This is 7.2. So let's talk about question 6 here. Now, 6, 7, and 8 have the same ideas. So we're going to answer 6, and you can do the rest by your own. So first, let's cover this so we can work here. In these questions, they will ask you to write a formula and then use the formula to answer the question. So first, focus with me on the steps of writing a formula related to direct proportion or related to variables in direct proportion. First, you will see a question like this. They will tell you that the first variable, which is p, varies in direct proportion to the second variable. It means you have to write them in order as they come in the question, okay? So the price of potatoes, P, varies in direct proportion to the mass, M. So you write it like this, P, you start with P, and then you write M like this. And in the middle between them, you write the sign of direct proportion, which looks like this, like this. We call this direct proportion. So as we said, first one that comes in the question, you write it the first one here. And the second one that comes in the question, you write it the second one here. And between them, you write the sign of direct proportion. Now, you continue with finding the formula for question A. So this sign here means directly proportional to. And you can remove this sign and put equal K, like this, equal K. So this sign means equal K. K is the direct or the constant of proportionality. The constant of proportionality. So the basic idea here is you're trying to find the K and then use it to write the formula that links P and M. Now let's continue with the steps. Second thing, you take the P like this and you put it here, and you take the M and you put it right here. So P equals like this, P equals Km like this. That's the second step. So first step, we write them as they are written in the question in order, and then you say P equals Km. Now you need the K alone. This means you're gonna take the M to the other side, and because it's multiplied here, you're gonna take it by dividing to the other side. Okay, so you end up with P over M like this, P over M equals K, equals K. So K will equal P over M. Focus on these steps because they are very important. So we end up with K equals, as we said here, K equals P over M, P over M. Now we found the formula that helps us to find K. Now I'm going to go back to the question and check what's the value of P and what's the value of M. So the value of P is the price. P is the price. So I have two values here in the question. I have this value here and this value. Now the price is in dollars and M is the mass, which is in kilograms. This means I'm going to take the price, which is 6.04. So 6.045, I'm sorry. This is the price. And M here is the mass, and the mass is in kilograms, so it's 2.5. So I'm going to divide by 2.5 like this. So 6.04 divide 2.5. This division will help me find K, the constant of proportionality. So let's find it by dividing. So 6.05 divide 2.5. And the answer is 2.42. So K equals 2.42. And as we said, K is the constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality. Now, to finish the question, which is writing a formula, I have to take the K, put it instead of this K. So take the value of K, which is 2.42, and put it here, substitute it in this K. And I'll end up with the formula like this. So P will equal Km. This means to remove k and put 2.42. So P will equal 2.42 M. And this is the formula that they need in the question. So basically, question A, find the formula, is here. Okay. So we found the formula that we're going to use to answer question B. Now, follow the steps that I did here. First thing we did, we put them in order, P and M, depending on the question. P is the price, which is in dollars. M is the mass, which is in kilograms. We removed this, we put equal K. And then we took M to the other side by dividing. So K equals P over M. We divided them to find the constant of proportionality. We substituted again here to find formula that we're going to use to answer question B. Now we look at question B. Use your formula to work out the price of 4.2 kilograms. So they gave us 4.2 kilograms, which is what? Very good. 4.2 kilograms is the mass. It means I'm going to substitute this number instead of the mass and find the price of this mass. So I'm going to write P equals 2.42 multiplied by M, which is 4.2, as I took from this question. Now I finished the calculation. So the price or P will equal 2.42 times 4.2, and the answer is 10.164, and the unit is in dollars. So $10 and 164 cents. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on the steps, how to turn the proportionality into a formula, and then how to use the formula to answer the question. Now, let's move on to the next question. Same idea with question 7 and 8. You just have to find the formula and then use it to find the answer of the question. Now, let's move on here. These questions here. I write the formula, same idea. I write the formula, same idea. Here, they gave us two values to work with, but here they gave us a table of values. This means you can what? You can use two values here and here. You can use these two values to write the formula, or you can use these values to write the formula. And then you can use them to find the missing variable, which is here, or you can use it like this with X method. But here they want you to use the formula to find the missing value. So same idea as we did with the first question, but this time they gave you a table. So it's basically finding the formula by using these two values over here. So same idea with all of the questions here. No need to do all of these again, okay? Now let's move on to the next question. Here in lesson 7.3, we're going to talk about translations and enlargements. Translations and enlargements, and how to translate shapes and how to enlarge shapes. First, let's start with translations, step by step. Translation means what? Translation means the movement of the shape across a flat surface. So it's the sliding of a shape across a flat surface. So basically, you just move it from a place to another. And translation happens using a vector of translation. Now, let's take a look at a question and we will use it to explain translation. Oh, these are enlargement. Okay, let's take these questions for example. Here, we're going to talk about shape A, okay? So this is the translation vector. The translation vector describes the movement that happens to the shape. Basically, the top movement is talking about the right and left movement, and the down movement here, or the bottom movement, talks about the up and down movement. So, translation vector will look like this. It's a big bracket like this. Okay. Let's imagine that we have a positive 5 here and a negative 2 here. Okay. So basically, as we said, the movement on top talks about the right and left movement. If it's positive, it means the movement goes to the right. If it's negative, the movement goes to the left, or the points go to the left. Here, this movement here talks about the up and down movement. If it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. Now let's take a look at the shape and we will understand more. So basically, when we move shapes, we move the points of shapes like this. This point, and this point. Here, when you look at the shape, this one is positive 4. Positive 4 means what? Very good. As we said, this describes the right or the horizontal movement, the right and left movement. Positive 4 means to the right. It means 4 to the right. And negative 3 means what? Very good. Negative 3 means 3 down. 3 down. So basically, you're going to move 4 to the right and then 3 down for each point on the shape. Let's start with this point. 4 to the right. 1, 2. Let's do it arrow by arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 down. 1, 2, 3. And this is the place of this point. So you just have to put the point again here. Focus on the steps of movements and focus on the movement of each point alone. So basically, when you move each point alone. This one is the horizontal movement. If it's positive, it's right. If it's negative, it's left. This one is the vertical movement. If it's positive, it's up. If it's negative, it's down. Now let's continue with the second point here. Second point, which is this point. I'm gonna use the blue one so we don't get confused. So same idea. I'm gonna go 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 down. 1, 2, 3. And this is the place of the new point. Now let's put it here. And then for the last point, I'm gonna use pink. Okay. So the point here, I'm gonna do the same movements. 4 to the right. And because I have arrows here, I'm gonna change the way of writing the movement. I'm gonna make it like this. So we have 4 to the right, 3 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 down. 1, 2, 3. So the new point will be here. So we moved the 3 points. Now we just match them with a line. So to match the new shape, I'm going to make it green. I'm going to match the 3 points like this. 1, 2, and 3. And this is the place of the new shape. So basically, I just moved all the points of the shape by using this translation vector. Understand that this one is the horizontal movement, and this one is the vertical movement up and down. If this one is positive, you go right. If it's negative, you go left. If this one is positive, you go up. If it's negative, you go down. And this movement is described by using the X and Y axis on the grid. Now, this is the idea of translation. Now, let me show you some questions that they ask you to describe translation. To describe translation. Let's take a look at some questions. In this question here, they said that shape A translated to give shape B. Now, they will tell you to describe the translation that happened here. Well, sometimes they might not tell you to describe the translation. They will tell you to describe the transformation. And you have to say this is translation. And you have to say what is the translation vector. So basically, first thing, as we said, you're going to find the translation vector. You start from a point on the shape. So basically, we started from here. Let's use red, blue. We started from this point here. We ended up here. So focus on the corresponding points of shapes. So to find what happened, first I'm going to follow the point here. So it went that way, which is the right way. It means it's the positive x. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this means we went 5 times to the positive x, so positive 5. And this is the first part of the column or translation column vector, a big bracket like this that has 2 numbers. The top number talks about the horizontal movement, the right and left movement. And then for the bottom number, I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3 down. So we went 3 times down. This means this one will be negative 3. And this is how you find or describe the translation that happened between two shapes. So focus on the column vector and how to use it, and focus on how to describe translation. Now let's move on to the next part of this lesson. Now, the second part in this lesson is about enlargement and how to enlarge shapes using scale factors. First, we need to understand that if you have the center of enlargement, you can use it to enlarge the shape. You can use it to enlarge the shape, and they might give you the center of enlargement as a coordinate, so you're supposed to find it and then enlarge the shape using the scale factor. So basically, let me use this shape here to explain the enlargement of a positive scale factor. So first thing you do, you have to find the center of enlargement. The center here is given by a coordinate. The coordinates are 9 and 5. This is the x and this is the y. So basically 9 on the x and 5 on the y. So the translation vector will be over here. First thing you do, you put or plot the translation center of translation, I'm sorry. Center of enlargement, I'm sorry, I said translation. Okay. So first thing we did, as we said, we found the center of enlargement, not the transition vector, center of enlargement. Now we're going to use it to enlarge the shape by the scale factor of positive 2. Basically, how do you do this? First thing you do, you find the distance between the center of enlargement and the point on the shape. So you do it like this. First, you find the distance by the center and this point here. So we have this point, and we can even find this point. So you can find one point only on a shape and then enlarge the shape, or you can find 2 points and do the same idea. It's up to you. It depends on the methods you like to use. So first, to find this point here, do it that way. I'm going to start from the center, and I'm going to go to this point. Always start from the center. First, I'm going to go one up, and then I'm going to go one, two, left. So I went one up like this and two left like this. Focus on these steps. So one up, two left. This is what happened for me to go from the center to this point. Now, if I want to find the place of the new point, I take the scale factor, which is positive 2, and then multiply it by the movements that I did. So I'm going to basically multiply it by these movements over here. So let's multiply them. So 1 up times 2 equals what? 1 times 2 equals 2. Very good. 1 times 2 equals 2. Now, after that, let me do it here. Yes. Up here, when you multiply it by a positive scale factor, it stays the same. So this means 2 up, like this. Focus on this. If the scale factor is positive, it means the movement or the direction of movement doesn't change. Only the numbers change, but the direction doesn't change. If the scale factor is negative, the direction will change. This means that up becomes down and down becomes up. Left becomes right, right becomes left. But if it's positive, it doesn't change. Now I multiply this by 2, and the answer will be very good. 2 times 2 will be 4. And then left will become left, which is the same. As we said, positive scale factor doesn't change the direction of movement. Now I'm going to follow this movement, the new movement that I have, which starts with what? Very good. 2 up and then 4 left. I'm going to start from the center here. I'm going to go 2 up, 1, 2, and then I'm going to do 4 left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the place of the new point. Now I just plot the new point over here. This means this point became over here. Now I'm going to do the same with this point, the one down here. So to find this point, I'm going to do the same idea. Start from the center, go down. Let me use a different. Yes. So I'm gonna go down. So one, two, down, and then one, two, left. So I have two down and two left. Two down, two left. Now, after finding the movements that took me from the center to this point, now I'm going to multiply it by the scale, same idea, and find the place of the new point. So times 2 and times 2. So 2 down times 2, 2 times 2 equals 4. Okay, let's put it here. So 2 times 2 equals 4. And then down, because it's a positive scale factor, it doesn't change. It becomes the same. So 2 down. Now this one is for the first one. Second one, same idea. 2 times 2 is going to be 4. And left becomes the same because it's a positive scale factor. Now I have to follow these new directions or new movements to find the place of the new point. So here I have, let me make it green, yes. So 4 down, 4 left. Same idea. I'm going to go 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the place of the new point over here. So now I found this line here. Now I can find the rest of the lines without using these steps. I just have to enlarge the shape. So first thing I do, I'm going to connect these 2 points like this to make the new shape. Let's make it in different color like this. So I'm going to connect these like here. Okay. So this one here, this 3, when you multiply it by 2, it becomes 6. Now I'm going to do the same idea with the other ones. First, I'm going to start with this line here. This one is 2, and this one is 2. And both of them are going to the left side. So I'm going to start from here. When you multiply the 2 by the scale, you'll get 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. It means I have to go 4 times here. So 4 boxes here. Same idea here. 2 times 2, which is the scale. It means it's 4. So I'm going to go 4 here to find the new points. So basically, the first points, I found them. They will help me to find the rest of the shape. So here, I have the new point, which is here, and the other point, which is over here. Now, at the end, what do? I just connect them together to draw the new shape like this. And this is how you find or enlarge a shape by a positive scale factor. Now, all questions have the same ideas with positive scale factor. Now, let's move on and check how to enlarge a shape using a negative scale factor. Let's move on. Now, sometimes questions are different. You just have to follow the same ideas, okay? Here, same idea, find and enlarge by a scale factor of 2. So find the center and then enlarge by a scale factor of 2. Same idea, okay? Sometimes they will ask you to find the scale between two shapes. For example, if I'm talking about these two shapes here, and I want to find the scale between them and the center of enlargement, first thing I do, I want to find the scale. So I take the ruler and I take the pencil and I connect the corresponding points. Corresponding points means what? It means two the same points on different shapes. For example, this one is on the base or on the right of the base, and this one is on the right of the base. So I connect them together like this. This point is on top right, this one on top right, so I connect them together. Same idea here. Let me change the color so you can see. This one is on top left. This one is on top left. I connect them. And this one is on left of the base, or base left. I connect them. Now, all the points or all the lines will meet in one point, which is over here. Now, I take the coordinate of this point. This point coordinates are 0 on the x and 1 on the y. So the coordinates of the point are 0 and 1, like this. This point here is the center of enlargement. Center of enlargement. And this is how you find the center of enlargement of two shapes enlarged by each other. So basically, to find the center of enlargement, just connect the corresponding points and they will meet in one point. This is the center of enlargement. Now, how do you find the scale of enlargement? Scale of enlargement, same idea, but you have to focus on the question. We have two types of questions. Sometimes they will tell you shape A becomes or enlarged into B, or shape B enlarged to become or into shape A. These are two different questions. And because they are different questions, they will give you different answers. Now, let me show you how. Okay, let's put this here. If they tell you, let's remove these lines, you already understand the lines of matching, yes. So we don't need these anymore. So let me remove this. If they tell you shape A enlarged into B or gives B, this means that B is the new shape, okay, or the image of enlargement, or basically the new shape. And A is the original one. A is the original. So the original is A and the new one is B. Basically, the idea of finding the scale, focus on this, the scale of enlargement or scale factor of enlargement equals what? Equals the new shape or the length of the new line divided by the original one, divided by the original. So basically, you divide the new one by the original. Focus on this step, okay? It's very important and it will help you to find the scale factor of enlargement. So let's take a look at the new shape. So basically, we're talking about the first question. Focus on this. A into B. This means that A is the original and B is the new one. When you divide the new on the original, it means you take a look at the lines here. You take a look at the lines that you have. So this line here, for example, if we're using the base here, it means we have to use the base over here. So the base of the new shape is 4, and the original shape is 2. So when you divide new over original, so 4 divide 2, 4 divide 2, it will give you the scale of enlargement, which is what? Very good. It's positive 2. So the scale equals positive 2. That's the idea of finding the scale factor of enlargement. So basically, we have to decide which one is the new one and which one is the original one, and then divide the new one by the original to get the scale factor of enlargement. Now, as I told you, these two are two different questions. So let's take a look at what happens here. Now, before we explain this, I want you to take a look at the shapes. They look like they are, or they're having the same orientation. They didn't flip, or the shape or the new shape didn't flip. This means the scale factor is positive. If the new shape didn't flip from the original shape, it means the scale factor is positive. But if the shape or the new shape flipped, it means then the scale factor is negative. So negative scale factor doesn't mean that the shape became smaller. It means that the shape has flipped or turned upside down. Focus on this. This is very important. Now let's come to the next one, which is B into A. Now let's remove this. We don't need this. Or we will take it here as long as you understand the steps. So this one is positive 2 here. And we found positive 2 by dividing 4 over 2. This means the scale is positive 2. Now, the idea of saying that it is positive or negative, this happens because when we look at the shapes, if they didn't flip, it means it's a positive enlargement. If they flipped, it's a negative scale, okay? Now, we're going to talk about B into A. Turning or enlarging B into A, it means B is the original one and A is the new one. It means B is the original and A is the new one. So focus on this. We're going to use the same rule. We're going to use the same rule. So basically, dividing the new over the original will give me the scale of enlargement. Will give me the scale of enlargement. Okay? So now we're going to divide using the same formula, the new over the original. So here, P is the original and A is the new one. So new, which is 2, let's write it here, 2, over the original, which is 4, will give me the scale of enlargement. So 2 divide 4 will give me, very good, will give me a fraction, which is 1 over 2 or 0.5. 1 over 2 or 0.5. And as we said, because the shape didn't flip, it has the same orientation, it means the scale is positive. So this is a positive scale. And this is how you use the formula to find the scale of enlargement in two different situations. As we said, these are two different questions. Make sure that you read the question carefully to find out which one is the original and which one is the new one. And to find the scale, take a corresponding two corresponding sides. And what the word corresponding means what? It means they are the same on two different sides. And what we mean by the same, it means if we take the base here, we're going to take the base over here. If we take the side on the right, it means we're going to take the side on the right here. Same idea here, left, left. And then to find the scale factor, we divide the new by the original. So dividing the new by the original will give you the scale factor. And then we look at the shapes. If they flipped, it means the scale is negative. If they didn't flip and they have the same orientation, it means the scale is positive. And this is how you answer a question like this. Now let's move on to the rest of the questions. So we covered the idea of finding the scale factor and the center of enlargement. We covered the idea of having a positive scale factor, and that's the idea here for 7.3. In the next video, we're going to talk about 7.4, finding the negative and fractional, or enlarging by a negative and fractional scale factor. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.